Namaskar. Today we will talk about the Hindenburg research report about the Adani Group and the Supreme Court's decision that has come today, what the ruling says, what we feel that, what is the most important factors arising from the judgment, what happens to Adani Group companies from now on, lessons to be learned for other businesses, and lessons for the banks and investors. First of all, let me tell you what is the Hindenburg research report that was released in 2023 early. Hindenburg research alleged misgovernance, fraud, price manipulation on Adani by saying that it took short selling positions in the group and it saw that there were brazen stock manipulations. Adani though denied all those reports, and as actually happens with so many other cases, the case went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court monitored committee actually also. Supreme Court appointed an expert committee by appointing members into that, and that together with the SEBI started inquiring. Today in the Adani-Hindenburg Supreme Court verdict, Supreme Court said that it has directed the SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, to complete the pending probe in 3 months. Although there are 24 probes that are to be done, 22 have completed, so 2 are remaining. So Supreme Court has directed the SEBI to complete the pending probe of the 2 cases in next 3 months. Supreme Court also did not find any reason to interfere in SEBI's powers to investigate and did not hand over the case to the CBI. It says that we have full faith in SEBI's ability, so there is no requirement of the CBI. Supreme Court also said that there are no valid grounds raised for directing SEBI to remove the FPI, Foreign Portfolio Investment Regulations. Supreme Court also said that petitioners have not placed on record strong information suggesting bias by investigating agencies. It also says that there is no conflict of interest in the expert committee members' appointment. A few of the petitioners raised this point that there are certain conflict of interest in the expert committee members, but Supreme Court denied it. Supreme Court also says that FPI regulations, means Foreign Portfolio Investment Regulations, were not diluted to benefit Adani Group, and 2014 and 2018 amendments are now at par with the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of. Then it says that petition in the Adani-Hindenburg case now stand disposed of. So the Supreme Court also actually reaffirms the reliance on unverified third-party reports such as OCCRP cannot be considered as proof in the legal proceeding. So this was what the Supreme Court ruling said. Now we would be talking about what is the most important aspect from the judgment. We feel that the most important aspect are coming from the judgment is: number 1, institutional strength of our regulatory bodies is appreciated and no intervention on the part of judiciary has been allowed. It means that Supreme Court has given a clear backing of our institutions, be it SEBI in the field of market regulator, be in the field of RBI, that is in the capital markets. So the institutional strength is one clear aspect. Second is, there are some mechanism that has to be drawn where the retail investors' wealth is protected to a large extent. Remember that when the Adani Group stocks crashed after the Hindenburg research, it was the retail investors of the Adani Group which bore the brunt of it. They were the one, actually their prices crashed and they were the ones who were in the losses by big margins. So that's why after this judgment we also feel that some mechanism should be drawn by either SEBI or government, so the retail investors' wealth is protected to a larger extent. Third is, business houses should also be kept away from daily level politics. Political parties should also understand that the business houses are the one who are the future growth providers, who can only invest in the infrastructure, because the government's ability to invest in the infrastructure alone is limited, and the business houses are the future job creators also. They also invest in infrastructure, be it road, port, railways, electricity, health, and no government alone can do it. So the political parties should keep away the business houses from daily level politics. And if the allegations like this come into the picture and without any proof, or before the Supreme Court or any other expert committee or any other institution give any negative report about that particular group, political party should also avoid any criticism of that particular business house. What happens to Adani Group companies from now on? We will also talk about this, because SEBI probe is still happening, because 22 out of 24 has finished, 2 are still remaining. We feel that it is not a clean chit by the SEBI yet. Although Supreme Court has disposed of the matter and said that SEBI is well versed with its powers to investigate the whatever the allegations that have been thrown at Adani Group. So the SEBI probe is still on. There is no clean chit by the SEBI in all the matters. Those are there, so it will be dealt with by the SEBI. And if there is to be any penalty, or suppose say any of the other misdoing, actually it will be exposed by the SEBI. But there are 22 already proven reports out of 24 cases, and 2 are still remaining. So we feel that whatever will come out of this, it will not be that earth-shattering for the Adani Group. Number 2, volatility in the Adani stock should also go away from now on, barring the profit booking, etc. Because right now the situation was like, Supreme Court was investigating, some other political parties were also raising these points. But because of the Supreme Court judgment, we now feel that the volatility in the Adani stocks will go away, or should go away. Number 3, raising the capital for Adani Group also becomes now more easier, because this is the 3rd level of faith in the Adani Group now. Recently you must have seen that the US security, the US that put some sort of equity in its port project, was one also that categorically denied any kind of Hindenburg some sort of wrongdoing by Adani Group. So the Supreme Court report today was also one of the shot in the arm for Adani Group. The faith shown by regulator without ample proof in short seller may also protect the power of SEBI to further tighten regulations. Now we will talk about the lessons for other business houses. So other business houses should learn few of the things. Number 1, good governance is the key. You should have a good corporate governance standards, because if you have the good governance standards, then no amount of these kind of short sellers or any other charges actually can shake your business group. Number 2, keep full transparency in the dealings. Short selling, insider trading, hiding any other information is all injurious to the health of the business empire. Business houses should also learn that they should remain fully cooperative and in communication with the investigating agencies and partners and the investors in the time of crisis, like Adani Group did. Even 4th is like even raising fresh capital if there is a need by way of equity dilution to keep the ship steady, avoid any defaults, just like Adani raised almost $15 billion during the last 1 year. When the Hindenburg research report came in, it raised almost $5 billion in equity and $10 billion in debt. Why? To keep the ship steady, not doing any kind of defaults on its acquisitions or any kind of payment that was due. The business houses should also learn to keep the assets of the company up and running with more focused management, so that the revenue and the top line growth is visible to the investors. Believe me that there is its own benefit of keeping the company up and running with assets actually remaining very good, because those are revenue generating. Another aspect that should be kept in mind is the investment in different party governments should also be done by the business houses, so to avoid putting any kind of, we say that eggs in a single basket. Business houses should learn this art to avoid being seen or being standing with one particular government, etc. We also feel that business houses should remain in communication with shareholders on a regular basis and provide updates on like share pledges, investment, borrowing, cash flows, merger, etc. You see, Adani even did mergers and acquisition during this particular period after the Hindenburg research report came, Even he did the mergers and acquisition by putting in almost $1 billion in different deals. It was enough to show the investors that the group is not at all concerned by such reports, and it believed, and the investor also believed that yes, something is good at the front end by the group, so that's why we should also keep faith in the group itself. Now there are lessons for the banks also. You see, in Adani group of company, banks were almost having 40% of exposure. Adani was having total like 2 lakh crore rupees debt, out of which 40% was coming from banks. But although the debt levels were insulated with cash generating assets and sufficient internal accruals to service that particular debt, so banks should keep in mind that always we should be funding the project which have a sufficient cash generating asset, and those are backed by internal accruals, so that the servicing of the debt can happen. Banks should also know that the investment in debt securities issued by any of the particular group should also be kept to the minimum levels. Now there are lessons for investors. Investors should do due diligence before putting in money in the equities of a particular group. Never go by any of the trend or top line. We should always check for the cash flow, for the asset quality, for the promoter holding, etc. in particular companies. So there are lessons to be learned for the investors, and lessons to be learned for the regulators are also like regulators like RBI, say RIDAI, SEBI, etc. that the regulations and the policy level measures should always be kept to the up to date with the time, be it the foreign portfolio investment rules about insider trading, rules about any currency sort of manipulation, etc. There is always need for the corporate houses to keep the transparency and the corporate governance standard at the bare maximum. So the regulators should also be updated with the time. Thank you.